Hey up. So, what comes after Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, you might be wondering? Well, the answer is clearly Zombie Flesh Eaters 3. Let's have a look, shall we? So, its official title is After Death, but it was whacked into the Flesh Eaters series here in the UK, and similarly, in Japan, it was added to their Zombie series, which is just the same bunch of films. It's called Zombie 4 over there. It's a 1989 Italian zombie horror film, and is usually cited as the nail in the coffin of the Italian zombie craze of the 80s. It's directed not by Clyde Anderson, as that's a pseudonym. It's actually directed by a guy called Claudio Fragasso. Now, viewers of this channel might be familiar with that name, and you might just be familiar with that name in general because he directed the infamous Troll 2, which is clearly on the Dead of Night collection release, which I did a series on those, and there's a link on the screen, I think it's this side, to watch my review of this there. And while I've got you, I'd highly recommend this Eureka box set, which has got Troll 1, Troll 2, and the Best Worst Movie documentary all included in it. Well worth it. Really, really cool set. If you're familiar with Troll 2, you've probably seen some of the clips playing around on YouTube, and you pretty much know what you're going to be getting in for with this.
Go ahead. What are you waiting for? Aim here. But remember, I'll persecute you after I'm dead. I'll come looking for you to feed on your intestines. I'll be in your nightmares.
That's all very well, Chuck. But frankly, I don't want to die on this island.
The plot to this one is a bit of a mess. So, there's some scientists, and they're on an island, and they annoy some voodoo dude, and he raises the dead. Simultaneously, there is a family on the island, not sure if they're related to the scientists or they just happen to be there, and the family and the scientists all die, and the only survivor is the daughter of the family. 20 years later, and the daughter finds herself back on the island with a group of friends, maybe? I'm not sure if that's explained at all, just a group of people that she happens to know. And the dead are still knocking about and killing people. Now there's also another group on this island, and they are aware of the stuff that happened previously with the scientists, and they're trying to do some research, and they find a Book of the Dead, or Book of Death as it says on it, and they read from it and accidentally raise the dead, even though the dead have already been raised and we've already seen them and they're already knocking about killing people. Most of this group dies, all except one, and he joins the previously mentioned group with the daughter in it, and some zombies attack, people die, the film gets pretty weird, and then the film ends. So yeah, pretty convoluted for a Flesh Eaters film, wouldn't you say? And this isn't helped by the fact that there's a lot of really slow, drawn out scenes with not much happening, and then big old exposition dumps. It's very complicated and convoluted to the point where the synopsis that I just gave is probably not 100% accurate, but I tried. The acting and dubbing in this is hilariously bad. Really cheesy and really strange. Not to the point of Troll 2, but close. And I'm glad it's there really, because it makes some of the more boring, drawn out bits at least have a little bit of merit. The gore's okay, plenty of blood and a lot of oozing, gooey stuff. A lot of green oozing stuff, actually. Fragasso really has a thing for the colour green, like big fluorescent green bits. Unfortunately, the zombies are really underwhelming, and are basically just extras with a bit of face paint on, wrapped in like a cloth. The sets get a little confusing as well, like there'll be like caves with lights in the cave and stuff like that, and some of the framing's really all over the place. I'll try and find some examples. But there's a great use of colour in this. Not as masterfully done as Argento, but you can definitely see some influence there. And it does elevate a lot of the scenes, makes them at least interesting to look at.
Holy shit. What's all this stuff?
The real problem with this film, as I've mentioned before, lies in its pacing. Now it starts off really strong with a great intro scene that had me kind of hooked. Then it slowly starts getting worse. It dips up and down, there are little bits here and there that I find quite interesting, but by the hour mark I was pretty fed up. But luckily it comes back towards the end and it really ends with a bang. This film also has the same problem as the previous film, in that most of the main characters are packing heat, and the action does just boil down to big buff dudes shooting zombies with guns. Now it does try and make up for this a little bit because the zombies are a little quicker than we've seen them before, but I don't quite think it makes up for it enough. Also, the zombies talk again, and the zombies also carry guns. Zombies with guns. Now I've seen everything.
Come on. I want you to be like we are. It'll be a new experience.
Let's have a look at this print. It's a weird one, this. The colours really pop and it looks great. The darks are really dark and the lights are really light. There's a great contrast going on there and it looks pretty crisp. But the film stock that it was shot on is appalling. It's really grainy and scratchy, and some shots look like barely watchable, whereas others are okay, so it's a real mixed bag. Luckily, the sound is good again though, because this soundtrack is amazing again. And let's see what's on the disc. You know what's on the disc. Nothing new yet again. And let's have a look at this case then. Well, at least it's short, but the first paragraph is completely garbled. Not sure if it's missing a word or it's got a word that it shouldn't have in there. No idea. A team of researchers are studying immortality on a remote island feel the wrath of the zombies. Not sure what it's doing there. Also, it really bigs this film up way too much. While I do agree that it was better than Flesh Eaters 2, this is by no means the best zombie flesh eaters ever. Overall then, this was a bit of a mixed set. While I found myself laughing every now and then at the bad acting and dubbing, I was also confused by the plot and bored now and again. If you can shut your brain off to ridiculous plot, then you might get something out of this. And I'd definitely say it was better than last week's. There is fun to be had here. But if you're on the lookout for a Fragasso film, then I would highly recommend Troll 2 instead. Troll 2 is a hilarious sit from start to finish, whereas this is a mildly amusing little zombie film that gets a little dull now and again. If you are interested in this and you're looking for an upgrade, then 88 Films have got you covered yet again with a Blu-ray, and you can have a nice little Flesh Eaters collection from them. So, a bit of a silly one this episode, and I think things are only going to get sillier next episode. We're going to be finishing off this little zombie quadrilogy that we've been having with one of the most ridiculously titled films in the whole collection, Zombie Nosh. It's Nosh time. Zombie Nosh time. That's what it says on the back there.